this process is really absurd, and people like me fall through the cracks.
How old were you when you started?
I was about 12 when I started on puberty blockers.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to talk about the lawsuit by this detransitioner named Clementine Breen. She's 20 or 21 years old, and she started taking hormones at 12, or puberty blockers 13. Anyway, let me read this to you because it's actually so incredible. I just can't even believe this is happening. Thank God. Finally, this is happening. So one of the doctors is being sued. I'll read this first. America's best known practitioner of youth gender medicine is being sued. Johanna Olsen Kennedy leads the Center of Trans Youth at LA Children's Hospital. One of the patients thinks she has been negligent. I think she has. Basically, I'm just going to scroll down here. Dr. Olsen Kennedy is being sued by a former patient, Clementine Breen, who believes that she was harmed precisely by a lack of gatekeeping, which we've all been saying, and many of Miss Breen's claims appear to be backed up by Dr. Olsen Kennedy's own patient notes, which Miss Breen and her legal team have shared with The Economist. The medical negligence lawsuit was filed on December 5th in California. Miss Breen is a 20-year-old drama student at UCLA whose treatment at Dr. Olsen's clinic included puberty blockers at 12, hormones at 13, double mastectomy at 14. Everything they're saying isn't happening. So I want to get into this and bring you up this video of her actually talking about it, because it's going to be a lot stronger than if I just read this article.
Blockers, cross-sex hormones, and a double mastectomy is now suing one of America's most prominent gender-affirming care practitioners. Let's bring in detransitioner Clementine Breen and Campbell Miller Payne founding partner Jordan Campbell. Thank you both for coming on. Welcome to you, Clementine. It's great to meet you on set. Tell me why you are suing Dr. Olsen Kennedy, one of these prominent doctors in the country.
Well, as much as I'd like financial reimbursement for the medical costs that this has caused me, I am mostly doing this because there's a lot of speculation online that this doesn't happen. Nobody's fast-tracked into this, and the lack of gatekeeping in this process is really absurd, and people like me fall through the cracks.
How old were you when you started?
I was about 12 when I started on puberty blockers.
What did your parents say?
My parents were really resistant originally, and they were pretty strongly believing that I was not transgender, and they were told by my former doctor that I was at very high risk for if they didn't agree to the treatment.
And you were not?
No, I was not at the time, and I only attempted after being on testosterone.
And
oh my God. Wow. It's all coming out, everybody. Takes a lot of guts for this young lady. I am so proud of her and so awesome. She's just awesome. Okay. Wow. You just heard it all right there. Wow.
When you finished, you were roughly how old?
I finished testosterone, or I fully stopped taking testosterone earlier this year.
And when did you decide this was not for you?
Earlier this year, after completing DBT therapy and sort of having to actually process my trauma for the first time, I sort of started thinking about my future and if I wanted to have children, and I couldn't imagine myself as someone's father.
Jordan.
So she didn't even get therapy before she's transitioning. If she would have gone through therapy, which we've all been saying, and dealt with her trauma, she would have never even gone down this road. Everything we've all been saying, this young lady is saying it all. And wow, just wow.
Talk, if you will, about the lawsuit, and I know you're trying to get this message out. What is the wider message you want people to take away from this?
Yeah, Trey. So, Clementine is suing for medical negligence, and her story is, of course, unique. But what I can tell you is it is by no means isolated. And so by that, I mean, we started our firm with the sole mission of representing detransitioners and victims of their families. And you hear very similar stories over and over and over of vulnerable children and young adults who are fast-tracked absolutely into completely life-altering, life-destroying, and family-shattering treatments purported that they can never come back from. And it is by no means isolated. It's happening every single day to scores of children across this country.
And that's what I'm wondering, because he says people think it's isolated, that these are very rare, and you're saying that's not the case.
No, I know tons of people that have detransitioned and tons of children that have transitioned, even younger than me, starting medical treatments. I grew up around lots of people through the clinic that I saw my doctor through, and seeing people dismiss it is really disheartening to me.
And what would you tell the younger you? What would you tell these younger people who were thinking the very same thing that you were thinking at 12 years old?
I mean, for me specifically, I wish I could have told myself that there is no right way to be female, and that if I hate myself for being female, that doesn't mean there's something physically wrong with me that I need to buy a cure for.
So, wow, it takes a lot of guts, I think, for this young lady who's only 20 years old. She went through all of this since the age of 12. It's just heartbreaking. But one thing she said that I think is super powerful is it is not an isolated incident, and it's happening so much more, and it's all coming out, and all of everything we've been saying is coming out, and it's just, the thing that breaks my heart mostly is there's just going to be so many of these young women who have somehow possibly destroyed their bodies by removing their breasts and taking hormones and becoming sterilized, and they're all young and just starting their life. And how did we let this happen? It's just so I want to play this other part. Hold on.
Clementine, how are you now?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing better. I'm going through the process of reconstructive surgery right now, which has been really, really challenging for me, and sort of deconstructing my whole identity and coming to terms with how much time I spent living as a whole different person has been really challenging, but overall I'm doing okay.
Your relationship with your parents?
It's gotten a lot better, actually. This has been really challenging to deal with for all of us, but I'm glad to sort of reconnect with them in this new way.
Is the future bright?
I hope so. I really hope so. You know, I hope there's a good outcome from this.
Yeah.
Makes me want to cry. I'm not going to cry, but it makes me want to cry. I feel so frustrated by the whole thing. So I just really care about these kids, and I care about this young lady a lot, and we just got to give her a lot of love right now, because she's doing something that's going to change the whole narrative of, if you don't do this, their kid's going to kill themselves. She said it right there. They said it to her parents. The whole BS that we've all been lied to. Now, I'm going to bring this up because this is a very important part of this story, and this is the actual doctor.
My name is Dr. Johanna Olsen. I'm the medical director for the Center for Trans Youth Health and Development at Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We have the largest trans youth clinic in the world, with about 250 active patients and about 50 more that are on the waiting list waiting to get in.
So you can see we had,
wow.
This is 13 years old, this is not a great pointer, but we had two young people who had chest surgery at 13, 5, at 14, 9, at 15, 9, at 16, and 8 at 17, and the rest 18 and older.
What?
So what type, well, some people weren't sure what type of surgery they had.
Some people weren't sure what type of surgery. She actually says it. Somebody was videotaping with this whole thing. I don't think she even knew, but do you see how someone at 13, 14, 15, and I don't think some people didn't even know what kind of surgery. Are you actually kidding me? This lady has to go to jail.
We'll see people as young as age 15 if they've been affirmed in their gender for a long period of time and don't really have any other life complications that
Just wow.
That we need to really turn the table.
So this is the doctor who is the doctor of Jazz Jennings and does bottom surgery. But listen to this. She's like also one of the biggest. She heads WPATH, and she is the doctor that does all the bottom surgeries. But wait till you hear this.
Around to the individual to say, look, these are permanent life-altering decisions that you're making, whether it's hormones or...
So the doctor's literally telling you they're life-altering, changing, irreversible, everything we've been saying, but the trans activists have been saying it's reversible. The actual doctor telling you it's not reversible. And these people, I swear to God. So, this is a very powerful thing that's happening right now with Clementine, Miss Breen, and she's going to change so much. And there's the lawsuits, money talks. It's an actual real thing. These lawsuits are going to change. Chloe Cole has one. She has one. I think there's a couple other ones that have one. But this is really a very important one, because this one is going after Dr. Olsen Kennedy, who is the biggest like pusher. I'm going to call her a pusher of the puberty blockers. The one who did the study, didn't release it, all of it. So the house of cards is falling. Can't build your house on a false foundation. And all these people who hurt these young kids, and they've all been telling us this hasn't been happening. Well, yes, it has. And we all knew it, but here it is. So with that, I'm going to leave you with thank you so much for helping support getting this message out, and let's support this young lady, and let's help get these messages out there, because we have to stop this. This cannot be. How can you give somebody that at 12 years old, and then she got her chest removed at like 13 or 14? Like, what? I mean, it's just mind-blowing to me. So I really value you a lot watching the channel. I value all of your input here. The comments, liking, subscribing to the channel is helping so much. I do appreciate you. I hope you feel it from me, seriously. And these are just so heartbreaking, but so powerful and so important. Have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the live, and I'll see you on the next one.